Yes, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world, whatever order you like to hear that. It is Thursday afternoon. Things are hotting up. We're on the 10th of July and there are transfers left, right, and centre all over Europe. My club, as most of you know, Tottenham Hotspur, we have signed Mohamed Kudus. We'll have a little look into that. There are talks about Ekitike. Is he going to join Newcastle? Surely that would only happen if he was going to replace Alexander Isak. Jordan Henderson is on a free. He's just left Ajax. Lots of talk that he's going to go back to Sunderland, where it all began for him before he got his big move to Liverpool all those years ago. Adingra has signed the paperwork for Sunderland. Adingra has signed the paperwork, so that no one saw that coming a few days ago. There's also Rodrigo de Paul. Is he going and joining Lionel Messi in Inter Miami? Lots of talk going on that front. Still Darwin Núñez to Napoli. When is that going to happen? Is it going to happen? Is Osimhen finally going to move to a club? Lots of clubs seemingly want Osimhen, but it seems like he's sorry, I can hear my light making a noise. 1 second, bear with me 1 second. Oh, what's happening? Apologies. I don't know what on earth happened there. I could just hear this crackling coming from the plug, and I looked around. It was like I could hear all this stuff. Anyway, big up to each and every one of you. Lots of reports, as we said there, about Darwin Núñez. We'll have a look at that in a minute as well. Arsenal have completed the signing of Christian Norgard from Brentford. You would probably think that it's he'd be a rotational player rather than a first team starter. You have got lots going on, and in the last sort of 4 or 5 hours, I'm getting loads of WhatsApps from different people about Adam Wharton. Lots of rumours flying around that Tottenham have bid for Adam Wharton. I've seen nothing really reputable say it, but nothing really reputable. However, doesn't mean that it won't happen. I feel like it would be a very difficult deal for Tottenham Hotspur to do, to get Adam Wharton out of Crystal Palace. I feel very sorry for Crystal Palace at the moment. They've won the FA Cup and they might not be allowed to play in Europe, which is madness. But hey, them's are the rules. If you know any Crystal Palace fans, ask if they want a cuddle. Because if they lose Eze, they lost Elise last year and possibly not getting European football as well. I mean, it's tough. It is tough. But yeah, listen, by the way, the Wharton links, I'd love him. I'm going to put it out there right now. I think if Tottenham could get Adam Wharton from Crystal Palace, I think that's a top signing. This is a really, really good player, one that we missed out on a few years back. But as I said, I've not seen a Romano or an Ornstein or I've not seen anybody of note say that yet. Now, that doesn't mean it's not happening, but I've just not seen a proper link, if that's right. I'm getting loads of different people saying, oh, my mate said this, and my mate's dad is a chef at the cafe next door to Crystal Palace, all that kind of stuff, So we'll see. We'll see with the Adam Wharton thing. I'd love it, but I just can't see it. I feel like it's going to be mega expensive. However, if Daniel Levy was to pull off that deal, then he would deserve maximum respect, because I think Adam Wharton would be a great central midfielder for Tottenham for years to come. But let's start as we mean to go on. This isn't just about Tottenham Hotspur. We have got a poll out. There is a poll going, and it's a nice and simple one. It said, what's the better signing? It's that simple. And you've got Anthony Elanga, Mohamed Kudus. Somebody's ringing me, by the way. Who's ringing me? Here we go. Breaking news. I've got breaking news for you on Tottenham Hotspur. I have got breaking news for you from Ornstein, an Ornstein bomber, should we say. I've got breaking news for you, and that is that Tottenham Hotspur are turning their attention to Nottingham Forest midfielder Morgan Gibbs-White. Let me bring this up on the screen for you. Sorry, I'm literally getting that breaking right now. I know when my man Ash calls me, it means something's happening in the world of Spurs. Let's bring that up. So it's as we're going live. It's as we are going live. This is coming out of the news. Here we go. So David Ornstein, and you know, I know, we all know when David Ornstein posts something, you know it's true. He has said this: Tottenham Hotspur are turning their attention to Nottingham Forest midfielder Morgan Gibbs-White. The Tottenham head coach, Thomas Frank, is a long-term admirer of the 25-year-old, and Spurs will try to convince the England international to join if a deal can be agreed. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is, whilst I'm... yeah, hang on. My man Ash is messaging me. I'm just saying I'm live. I'm live. First thing I'm going to do is message whufc from Nottingham Forest. He told me that none of their players were going to leave this year, and that now looks like Alanga's gone, and it could now be Morgan Gibbs-White. Now, it doesn't say how far along the lines we are, but it says that we are turning our attention to it. So I don't want to get over excited. I like Gibbs-White. I think he's a good player. I think he'd be brilliant to bring in. But at the moment, it's just saying that we've turned our attention and that we still need to convince the player. So it looks like that we are talking to the player and trying to convince him. There are people saying, please no. Wolfie cracks me up. Wolfie's response to me, I literally just sent him this screenshot. His response to me, please overpay and take him. I love it. I love Wolfie. He's such a good character. But Morgan Gibbs-White, let me know where you're at, people. This isn't meant to be a Spurs show, but that is the breaking news. And Tottenham Hotspur are putting bids in for players. Tottenham Hotspur seem to be moving in the transfer market. And my man Lubo is going to have a lot of apologising to do to Daniel Levy at this rate. Morgan Gibbs-White, where are you all at with it? Let me know. What sort of a player do you think he is? How much would you pay for him? I like this game. As fans, we all go, oh, I wouldn't pay more than this. And in reality, it's not our money, is it? In our reality, some billionaire is going to be paying for this. It's like if someone says, go on holiday anywhere you want. Great. I'm not going to pick Camber Sands, am I? I'm going to go, all right, cool. I'm going to the Maldives or something. So let me know what you think. As the breaking news suggests, Tottenham Hotspur turning their attention to Nottingham Forest midfielder Morgan Gibbs-White, and that Thomas Frank is a long-term admirer. Now, for me, I'm all over this. I think that I don't think you can ever have too many good players. I want him, Maddison. I want these options, the Kulusevskis, the Mohamed Kudus. I want Wissa in as well. I want, another. I don't particularly want Solanke, but I want both of them, if that makes sense. And it would suggest that a lot of players are going to be leaving. Let me just quickly change the title of this show really quickly. I don't know if I can actually because it started, but Morgan, what's his name? Morgan Gibbs-White to Spurs. Ornstein. Let me spell his name. Ornstein. I tell you what, if I could spell, I'd be dangerous. Honestly, since I stopped working in the city, guys, I feel like I've forgotten how to type, how to do anything. Ornstein breaking news. There we go. I don't know if I can actually change it. I've said save changes. No, it says it can't because the show has already started. So that was absolutely pointless for me to try and do that. But hey, it is what it is, right? We move. We do what we do. Look, I'm really keen for Spurs fans to get on board with this notion that you can't have too many good players. I'm really, really keen that we don't fall into the trap of saying, oh, but where does he play? You know, I think it's really important that we look towards the bigger clubs and say, well, how are they doing it? How are they doing it? 1 second. I've worked out how to do it. 1 second. You'd think being on YouTube for this many years, I'd know, wouldn't you? But hey, all right. There we go. That should hopefully change the title. There we go. That should change the title indeed of this show. And let me just let people know that we're live. They should know already, but you know, we'll pump it out there again. Share, great post. Morgan Gibbs-White to Spurs. There we go, to Spurs. Question mark. Always question mark, because I don't want it to be a statement. And I'm guessing this show is going to very quickly turn into a Morgan Gibbs-White show, isn't it? So there we are. If you haven't, please do smash the subscribe button. There's nearly 400 of you inside the house and building. So welcome to each and every one of you. And also, if you haven't smashed the like button, what more do you want, people? If you haven't smashed the like button, you've got to ask the question, why not? Because this is some Tottenham Hotspur breaking news, and we've only got 66 likes, which is utterly disgusting. Smash that button. And before anyone asks me, the reason why YouTubers ask for likes is the more likes the show get, the more the show goes around the algorithm on the internet, and the more people that join the show. So please, please do me a solid, do me a favor, and smash that button. And 1 second, yeah. So Lubo's just messaged me. I'm just going to message him and tell him, Levy, you need to start loving Levy. He hates me, honestly. He pretends to like me. I think he hates that I wind him up about this. So talk to me, people in the chat. I'm going to get to your comments in a minute. I want to know, what do you make of it? Is this a good deal? Where is Morgan Gibbs-White going to play? Is it good for our Champions League run that we're going to have multiple players in this position? So let me know. And just so you all know, the link to subscribe is now pinned to the chat. So you don't have to look far for it. I have pinned it for your convenience. So thank you very much on that front. Right. Let's get to some of your comments before we move away from Gibbs-White. In 10 minutes or so, let's move away and see what the good people of YouTube are saying. Here we go. Lewis said, what a signing this could be for Spurs. Isn't it funny that we got people like Lewis that are like, yes, what a signing. And then other people going, no, I don't want it. It's just, we're all funny individuals, aren't we? Big up to you, Lewis. Thank you very much. My man, Mark, lovely to see you yesterday on the members only show, mate. And to meet your dog. What a beautiful dog you've got, by the way. A real big manly dog compared to my little scruffy little things. Said, I'll pay around the same as Kudus for Gibbs-White easily. Take us up another level again. Listen, Tottenham Hotspur are moving. We are moving, and this is what we asked for. I cannot complain at this. I just want to check. I just want to see if our man Romano said anything, because normally if Ornstein says something or Romano says something, the other one follows suit pretty quickly. Not at the moment. Not at the moment. And there's Romano's posting news about Xavi Simons. We'll get to that a little bit later. So I'll come back to that a little bit later on in the show. First and foremost, let me say, Ben Hart, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Always appreciate all of my members. And Ben, for my members, to give something back, I do have a members only show once a week where we all gather around, sit about, talk, have a cup of tea, have some biscuits, talk about Tottenham Hotspur live, but without it being live. So we do it all on YouTube, but it can only be seen by other members. So it's a very safe space. Some people come on that wouldn't normally come on. And you are more than welcome to join that now, Ben, because you are a member. So thank you very much, Ben. Welcome. And by the way, I do have a call-in show tonight at 9 p.m. So if anyone would like to join the call-in show, it could change, though. If Spurs have any other breaking news, it could change to just an emergency meeting of the good type. Not all emergency meetings are bad, unless you work in the White House or something like that. And then all emergency meetings aren't for good reasons. If anyone cares about the tennis, world number one Sabalenka is playing Anisimova, and it's currently 1 set each in the women's semi-final. So Sabalenka lost the first set and she won the second set. So at the moment it's 1 set all, and the first seed 1 set away from going through or 1 set away from going out. Big up to you, Ben. Thank you very much. Very generous $20 donation from Moose City, who's been very kind to me lately. Moose, you're a legend. Thank you. Always appreciated when people fund my business. So thank you very much. He's just said, Savva, Morgan Gibbs-White is a baller. Would he play central attacking midfield or central midfield? I feel like we have really good depth at Cam, Madders and Kulu. He said maybe one goes, can do the job. I feel like we really need a good CDM, so a bit confusing. Moose, I would think that what we're seeing here is Thomas Frank structuring a squad of players that he wants, right? He's structuring a squad of players that he wants. Now, it's easy for me to say that at the moment because we've only signed 1 player. But what I would say, mate, is I think that Thomas Frank is going to play a midfield 2, Moose. I truly believe he's going to play a midfield 2. I don't think we're going to see the actual number 6 out and out I don't think we're going to see the out-and-out number 6 that many people think we needed last year under Ange Postecoglou. Under Ange, I completely agreed that we needed an out-and-out 6. I do think that Thomas Frank will play slightly differently. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show everyone on... is it on FootMob I'm looking for? No, not FootMob. God, I've got so many tabs open about football. It is unreal. My brain is overloaded with football information. Yeah, so if you look at the second half of last season, Moose, what Thomas Frank did with Brentford was he played the back 4 with the 2. So again, a phrase I hate, which I always say, is the double pivot. So it's more 2 8s that sit and protect and go forward rather than the out-and-out number 6 with 2 in front. I think we might see that. And if you do that, it does leave interpretation for, could Morgan Gibbs-White be one of those number 8s? I don't know. Again, I'm just surmising. I know about as much as you. I'm not the font of all knowledge. I don't know Thomas Frank. I just think from doing my homework on how he plays and how Brentford's set up, that is more than likely what he's going to do. However, shoot me down if you will. I know you won't, Moose. Big up to you, my man. There is every opportunity that Thomas Frank might come in. Sorry, every possibility, not opportunity, that Thomas Frank will come in and completely revolutionize the way he plays. We know that he's an adaptable, interchangeable manager that's fluid with his tactics. So I don't know. But listen, big up to you. Thank you very much for the donation. Listen, Morgan Gibbs-White. I like Morgan Gibbs-White. He is a good player. I'd be very happy. Again, homegrown makes sense. What will Nottingham Forest want? Are Nottingham Forest being raided for all of their players? And I have asked whufc to jump on if he can, and he might do if he can. But if he can't, he can't. Simon, big up to you, Simon. By the way, sorry, big up, Moose. Thank you. I always feel humbled when people put in the super chat. So thank you very much, Moose. Thank you for that. Before I go to Simon, big up to my man, Rodney. Put in a super chat earlier, and now he's putting in a super sticker. Big up to you, my man. Rodney, maybe you're starting a super sticker train. Big up to you. I hope you're well. And one day I want you to call in on the call-in show, my man, so we can finally meet. I say face-to-face, you know what I mean? Virtually face-to-face. So big up to you. Thank you, Rodney. And thank you for the 5 people that have just subscribed during this show as well. Really, really do appreciate you. Sue Smith, big up, Sue. Hope you're well. Said, not particularly exciting. Oh, I'm going to say it, Sue. Are we not happy with anyone at Tottenham? I quite like him. He was just nominated for Player of the Year. Are we really not? We're not excited by the thought of Morgan Gibbs-White. I think that's crazy. My man Ash has said, yes, 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 yes. He is either having his Sleepless in Seattle moment. I believe that I've quoted the right film. No, I've got that wrong, haven't I? What's the film where she goes, she has having the fake orgasm? When Harry met Sally, the wife knew. The wife knew when Harry met Sally. It definitely wasn't Sleepless in Seattle. God knows where that came from. So same actress. There you go. The brain does what the brain does. Ash is either having some sort of orgasmic situation over there, or he's just very excited at the thought of Morgan Gibbs-White. Whereas Sue is not excited. Big up to you, Sue. Big up to Kate in the chat as well. Good evening to you, Kate. I hope you are well. If I'm not wrong, Kate, you said you live in Sheffield. What's the weather like up there? Because absolutely banging here today, Kate. Not going to lie to you. It's absolutely beautiful here in London. Simon has said Morgan Gibbs-White agreed personal terms with Man City. Is this true? I genuinely don't know. Listen, I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say that Morgan Gibbs-White is 100% signing for Spurs. But the fact that Ornstein has put it out there tells you that something's happening, and Tottenham may feel that they've got an opportunity. Rodney has come back in and said, people saying no to Gibbs. He said, for fuck's sake. I like the way you didn't swear. I'll swear. I can't be demonetized for the F word. He has said, for fuck's sake, we could be after Jesus Christ himself, and this lot still would say no. The question I've got, Rodney, is which position does Jesus Christ play in? Maybe we don't need him. Maybe he can play in the 6 or the 8. Who knows? Big up to you. Where are we? SOF, my man, out in the US, I believe. How you doing, bro? And it's really sad that I know where you all live, isn't it? Sorry, it's almost a bit weird that I remember all these things. So Gibbs-White, hell yes. Yeah, I don't see the downside to it. We asked for the squad. Everyone moans, don't they? Like everyone moans and says, oh, but when there's injuries, what do we do? We didn't build a squad. Then when we try and build a squad, oh, he's not very exciting. I don't know what we want. I'm taking Morgan Gibbs-White all day long. Let's have a little cheeky look at Morgan, shall we? I actually wanted Morgan Gibbs-White when he was at Wolves. If anyone remembers when he was at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Listen, I think everything about Morgan Gibbs-White is perfect for Tottenham right now. He's a vastly experienced Premier League player. He's got over 200 Premier League appearances from what I'm seeing here. Let me just double check that. Just under 200 Premier League appearances. He's English, so the homegrown quota is very, by the way, I don't care what nationality people are, but for a homegrown quota point of view, it's very, very important. And, you know, listen, he's just had a really good season for, he's just had a really good season for Nottingham Forest. He's got England caps now. He's got 4 England caps in the last year. I'm not really sure what we don't like about it. I'm just being sent some further news. No, I'm not. Sorry, it's the same news. Big up, Ash. Thank you, my bro. Really appreciate that. I'll tell you what, let me see if Sean's about. He never responds to WhatsApps till later, but here we go. If you're free right now, news on MGW. Yeah, listen, finally, Daniel Levy and Lang, it looks like they've woken up, and it looks like they're putting into plan what we wanted them to in July. We all said that Tottenham Hotspur, our financial year ran from the 1st of July. Well, it's the 10th of July. We've signed Mohamed Kudus, he's having his medical at Tottenham today. And now, we could be getting Morgan Gibbs-White. Now, what I'm going to say is I have seen my brother in the chat. There he is. My brother, Brian Daigle, is in the chat. Brian, if you want to come on, feel free. Just send me a WhatsApp. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll send you a WhatsApp if you're free. I know it's going to be different timings for you out there in Canada, but if you want to come on, you're more than welcome, my friend. I would have invited you to the FHTV barbecue, but I think it would be a long flight. from Canada. But I've just sent you the link, Brian. So if you are watching, I've just sent you the link. If you are free to come on, I'll bring up the Morgan Gibbs-White stats in a minute. But before I do, Moose with another $20 donation to fhtv. Very, very generous. Moose, you are a legend. He said, also, do you think Johnson could switch to the left wing? It seems a little weird. Thomas Frank really rated him, but now signs Kudus, who plays his position. He likes his wingers to be able to cut in and shoot, and he's a right wing with a right foot. Right, let's break this down into segments. Do I think Johnson could switch to the left wing? I hope not. I don't want to see, I'll be honest, I don't want to see Brennan Johnson on either wing. I don't think he's a winger. I think he's an inside forward. And his attribute is getting into the box and scoring goals. Oh God, I've sent Brian the wrong link. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. What a donut I am. Sorry, I've sent Brian the wrong link. That's embarrassing, isn't it? He's called me out on it as well. Here we go. Edit, invite guests, copy. Try this one, Brian. There you go. Try that one. Hang on 1 second. No, 1 second. We're having a Mary. Nope. Nope, we're having a mare. I'm having a mare. Bear with me, people. Bear with me. There we go. So let me break this down. Morning, Brian. It's morning for you, mate, isn't it? Morning.
Correct.
Just before I bring you in, Brian, let me address this very generous super chat from Moose. Listen, for me, I think that Brennan Johnson will be an impact player. I think that what he did last year, listen, no one's going to knock it. He's not my favourite player. But what I will say is, if we do want to compete, if we do want to get better, unfortunately, it does mean for me that players like Brennan Johnson will have to be upgraded. That sounds harsh, but this isn't about sentimentality. This is about getting better at Tottenham. Now, Kudus, Kudus is a right winger that cuts in on his left foot. So for me, I think it makes sense that he'll play on the right. Most of his goals and assists in his career have been statistically when he's been playing from out on that right-hand side. But I do think there is a part for Brennan Johnson to play. It's just whether or not he's happy. Now, I did hear this morning, again, I hear a lot, don't know if it's all true, but I did hear this morning that don't rule out Brennan Johnson back to Nottingham Forest. Now we've got the Morgan Gibbs-White links. Could a deal be struck? And for me, if Spurs could do a swap with Gibbs-White for Brennan Johnson, that would be a masterstroke from everybody's favourite chairman. And we've got the leader of the Daniel Levy fan club who's just joined us, Brian Daigle. Big up Moose City, legend. Thank you very much. Thank you, Moose. Brian Daigle, how are you, sir? And second of all, what's happened to Daniel Levy and Johan Lang? Has somebody banged their heads together?
First of all, hello to you and everyone in the chat. Second of all, hello. It's Morgan Gibbs-White. Hello, mate. I honestly, first of all, let's go back to the Lang Levy. Vinay is having a massive impact. Apparently, Vinay was massive in Kudus. Obviously, Levy has got it over the line, and fair play to him for doing it. Fair play. I always say I'll give credit where it's due. It's in. But if Spurs get a Morgan Gibbs-White after a Kudus, it is a massive, massive sign of intent and a massive step in the right direction, as in the calibre and quality of player we're going for. Morgan Gibbs-White is an excellent footballer. I'm like you. I've liked him. People will remember there was a game where we beat Wolves 3-2. It was at Molineux. 1/4 gave away 2 penalties in that game. Player of the match by a country mile in that game, a 17-year-old Morgan Gibbs-White. He tore us to shreds. I love Morgan Gibbs-White. I put him right up there with Eze for me. I really do. I absolutely love him. And if Spurs get him, my good God, happy goddamn days. Happy.
Do you know what? I find it quite staggering, Brian, that the number of people that in my chat that are saying, "No, I don't quite fancy him," and I'm like, well, I'm all over this. I think the Gibbs-White, the Kudus, I think that's our level. I think that's where we should be shopping. You know, now in a minute, I do want to pick your brains because people have been messaging me saying, "Oh my God, have you heard that ITK Brian Daigle's talking about Adam Wharton?" So I want to pick your brain on that in a minute. But,
I did. For
me, Gibbs-White just makes sense. English, which means he's homegrown. He's 25, which means we're not signing children. Do you know what I mean? He's got just under 200 Premier League games under his belt. Loved him at Wolves. Think he's done a really good job at Forest. I can't see a downside to it, Brian. Can you?
Not at all. Not at all. What I will mention to it as well, I'm going to chuck another possibility. I hadn't heard the Johnson links that you've heard, but if you look at it, Forest have just lost Elanga to Notts Forest, to Newcastle. They need a pacey winger. Why not put a Manor Solomon in the deal? Because I think Johnson. I think Johnson is staying. Whether those rumours are true, I think Johnson is staying. You're going to see a different Johnson more centrally. But if we are going to chuck players into the deal, we may have to because of the value of him. It makes sense. Whether Forest want him is another case. But you could easily say, right, Manor Solomon, an XYZ amount of money. But, mate, listen, isn't it wonderful right now? Yes, we could say this is paraty at work with all these links being thrown up everywhere. But you have to think right now Spurs are moving differently. Spurs, it could all be, like we said, we've got Kudus in it. It could be just we end up at the end of the window with just one recognised first teamer. But if Spurs manage to get a Gibbs-White or another player, as you just mentioned before, which was about Wharton, you've got to say something's going on. It I mean, you look at it right now, Savva. I was saying just now on Tottenham on Tour, I can't remember a season I've looked forward to with so much excitement. Because obviously I've been calling Frank for so long. You look at the coaching network that has been, or coaching team that's been assembled, they've gone up levels. They've gone up levels to previous, and I'm even talking Conte's time. The coaching structure and the positions filled, like the integration, I can't even say that word now.
Integration.
Thank you. Mate, I'm so giddy that I can't speak right now. There's certain roles that have been filled. Everything seems better. Everything, coaching-wise, looks right. I am just so pumped for this season and seeing what Frank does in pre-season he will use pre-season to show different playing styles, different formations. I can't wait. And if we can get a Gibbs-White or players of this level in, then things are finally turning.
Well, Mike McGrath, who works for one of the papers, I can't remember who Mike McGrath works for, he's tweeted out saying that he can confirm that Tottenham have got Morgan Gibbs-White as a top target and that they believe the fee will be well over 60 million. He works for the Telegraph. Thank you. Somebody who clearly saw me struggling has WhatsApped me that immediately. Big up, Ash. So Mike McGrath for the Telegraph says well over 60 million. However, let's be fair. And you're Daniel Levy's biggest fan. He just got Kudus, so we were told that it was going to be 70, 75. So listen, I'm just happy that we're looking at grown-ups. I know that sounds weird because these 25-year-olds are a lot younger than me and you, Brian.
Yeah.
But in football terms, they are adults. You know, I just think for me, and maybe I'm thinking too simplistic. Maybe I am thinking in Football Manager terms. Brennan Johnson going back the other way just makes sense to me if indeed both clubs wanted that to happen. But we'll see, right? We'll see if we can get this deal done as well. We'll see. And Wissa, can you imagine Wissa, Gibbs-White, and Kudus?
If that comes in and we sign, let's just say those three come in. Let's just say, well, one of them's already there. If those two come in, that is a window where we have had 3 first teamers come in and immediately improve the team. Immediately. And I can't remember the last time we did that. I honestly cannot remember the last time. And like Dave's just said, look at that for attacking options. You've got, you look at it, you've got the flat, you've got every one of them. Madison, you've got the passing guile and what he does. You've got Gibbs-White, who is the engine and will be running non-stop. And then you've got the flair of Kudus. It's got a bit of every. Honestly, how can people not get excited with the possibility of that?
See, do you know what I'd like to see? If we saw that, right, as a free behind Solanke or Wissa, or Wissa, whoever, right? And then had the 2/8s that sit, and then let Porro and Udogie be the width. Let these 3 operate in centrally, passing about between them, and let Porro and Udogie down the width. And the only thing I'd love to see change from that, if I then get Udogie out and get Robinson in from Fulham, I love Robinson.
Don't say me.
Porro and Robinson flying down the wings, whipping in balls, these 3 creating. I tell you what, I'm excited to watch Tottenham Hotspur play football again.
I may just have Thomas Frank in. I'm excited to see Tottenham play football again. But if and obviously at the moment it's if buts and maybes, apart from obviously Kudus and Madison, who's here. This is players where you literally see right there is a literal intent to try and get back to where we were and climb back and achieve top 4 again. Honestly, again, we've seen this before. It's not. Let's not all get. I'm very excited. I can't lie, but we'll see if it gets done. But Morgan Gibbs-White to Tottenham Hotspur, along with Kudus, is incredible business by this football club. Incredible.
Let's have a look at him. Let's have a look at him in a bit more detail, shall we? I'll share my screen. Please, guys and girls, please keep smashing that like button. I mean, we've got 210 likes. There's 770 of you in here. 770. 209 likes, which is utterly shocking. Come on. As somebody said earlier, can we stop with the Darwin Núñez goal ratios, please? Can we please get the Harry Kane goal ratios? Let's have a look at him, shall we? So this is his transfer market page. What do we know about him? Well, as you can see there, we know he's 25 years of age, turned in January. He's English, so he's homegrown, attacking midfield, and he's got 4 England caps. But that's not really the interesting stuff. The interesting stuff will be down here. You can see on the left-hand side. They've got him down as positions. His main position is attacking midfield. Can also operate central midfield and also as a right winger. And the important thing to look at there, Brian, is where I'm just there. 2 years left on his contract, which means that's the awkward stage, Brian. Hang on, actually, I'll tell you what. Let's make me and you a little bit bigger. There we go.
Look at you play with the cameras here.
You what? Sorry.
So look at you play with the cameras on StreamYard and the angles here. Look at you go.
I wish I'd set that up. Perchy set that up for me because he knows I'm absolutely rubbish with technology. 2 years left on the contract. It's that awkward stage, Brian, where a club might not want to sell, but if you get a bid of £60 million for a player that's got 2 years left on his contract, it's the difference between 60 and that goes down to 25 in a year's time. Yeah. So it's that strange time in a contract, isn't it? 2 years.
It is, and like you said, with the value as well. Now, this is like the norm for that kind of player now. Whether you like it or not, this is the norm for a player of this quality. And I have to say as well, even there's a guy in here from Man City, Samir 2129, that's just said he wanted him at Man City. So it shows what Man City. It's like you said, this is the worrying period, like kind of where we are with Romero. If he doesn't sign, forget what he thinks about whether he wants to stay or not. When you get to 2 years, you have to start worrying about will he sign a contract, because the clock starts ticking and the value starts going down.
Exactly.
And this would be a very, very, very shrewd bit of business. At 25 as well.
Mm. Well, look, let's have a look, Brian. Let's go a little bit more detailed even than that, shall we?
Let's do it.
If we have a little look at his... Oh, where are we? If we have a look at his stats, hopefully it should show us where he played. So you can see here that in his career, he's played. I mean, look, this is a complete breakdown as where he's played in his career, right on the right-hand side. So we can see here that he's played the majority of his football in the number 10, if you will, but 50 games in central midfield, 24 as a centre forward, 24 as a right winger, second striker, and then a few dotted about elsewhere. So it's going to be very interesting. Listen, I feel like he's got everything. He's got versatility, nationality. It just seems sensible, and I'm all over it. I don't understand this. Like I was all over Kudus. I'm all over this. I'm all over it.
To me, him and Eze were up there for me. For the last 2 years, I've been going on about it. I actually did a thing on We Are Tottenham team. You know when we played Nottingham Forest and Richarlison did those keepy-ups on his first season? I was on it and they said, who do you reckon the Forest danger man is? And I was like, it's Morgan Gibbs-White. Morgan Gibbs-White is a steal for them. What I love about Morgan Gibbs-White, and what I was saying last season, I think he has all the, and I was saying this if we bought him under Ange, I think he has all the attributes, if coached right, to be a number 6 as well. He like you saw on that chart, he's only played there 1 or 2 times. I think he has all the attributes, the engine, the physique, the strength, the way he goes into the tackle. I think he has all the attributes to play any position in midfield. That clearly showed he plays 8s and 10s predominantly. I think he has all the attributes to be a number 6 as well. I think, honestly, if this happens, I am going to be over the goddamn moon. This transfer will have me absolutely pumped and going insane.
I think it's fair to say, people, that our man Brian Daigle here, he is a big fan of.
Massive.
He is a big fan. I'm just going to have a look at his. I want to have a look at Morgan Gibbs-White. I want to look at his heat map for 2025. I'm just trying to find it desperately. Over the last 12 months, come on, show me the heat map. Can't find it. Oh, I can't. You know when you can never find what you want when you're on the spot.
Of course. I tell you what, like I said, what I was saying as well on Tottenham Tour is obviously getting a Kudus over the line. Thomas Frank, if we can get him or another player of that calibre over the line, it shows that people are buying into what he wants. And when people are saying, oh, he's at Brentford, well, look what he's done, look what he's won, whatever. Well, he's come to Tottenham and he's started. I mean, just look at that.
Yeah, so this is his heat map in the Premier League only. I say that's all I really care about because Forest weren't in Europe. So this is his heat map. You can see there that, I mean, he's everywhere. Let's be brutally honest. From looking at his heat map, he is everywhere. Now, obviously, the majority of him collecting the ball is going to be anywhere in that kind of middle third, as opposed to, in just outside the penalty area in that third. But it shows you he's very comfortable. He's a very technically gifted, comfortable footballer. Again, I just don't see anything wrong with it. In the Premier League, I just want to have a look at. We're going to have a look at his 24-25 stats. Bearing in mind, this was a player who made the last 8 shortlist, didn't he, for Premier League Player of the Year?
Correct.
So we can see there, look, he's got 7 goals and 10 assists in 34 games. If I'm not wrong, that is 17 in 34 is 1 in 2. So he's got a goal contribution every other game.
Yeah.
Playmaker. Just it gets better and better and better, doesn't it? It's just got Tottenham written all over it.
I would be interested with however many people you've got in the chat. For the people that aren't on board with him coming, why are people not excited by the possibility of Morgan Gibbs-White coming? Because I don't see a single downside to it. Do you, Savva?
No, not at all.
I don't see a big... Honestly, he is incredible. I'm getting very excited.
One of the main Nottingham Forest reporters, make it sound like I'm an ITK, and I'm definitely not, has said, tweeting this with a slightly heavy heart and not looking forward to telling my son, he said in brackets. Does it look likely? As it stands, yeah, it seems that way. Sorry, Forest fans. Hopefully some happier news to come soon. He's a brilliant player, and I can see why Thomas Frank wants him at Tottenham Hotspur. Now, the thing that makes me think that this is further down the line than we think is that David Ornstein doesn't normally get involved in rumours. David Ornstein, he tweets 2 or 3 things a day, right? David Ornstein doesn't do the 95 million tweets out like Romano does, like Matt Law. And do you feel like this could be something happening very soon? Are we maybe wrapping up these players, Brian, in time to go to South Korea?
Mate, you've got to start thinking that way. But what you've just got, it's just insane how this is happening. If it's further down the line, what we've got to start thinking is Paratici involved here? Or is Land really starting to do things in the shadows for big time players? Because obviously the Wissa news has broke. Everything is breaking, but people going under the radar. It's either Paratici's heavier work with contacts or Lange is moving in the shadows. But we've got to sit back and actually think what the hell has happened in this summer shake-up. Cullen gone, Cullercock gone, Charrington, Vinay in, Frank's assembled. Obviously, we heard Frank wants assurances. Are Tottenham actually pulling in the same direction? Are they actually running down this highway all together as one? You've got to think for the career thing. But then you've got to think: are we doing what we're doing with the bail money? Is there a Sonny exit? Is there a Bentancur hasn't signed the contract? Is there a Romero Atletico Mayor? Because we wouldn't be moving in the shadows and spending this money without knowing money's coming in my opinion, unless there has been some investment somewhere, somehow, that is being kept very close under wraps.
No, I completely agree. I think either that or Daniel Levy has. Listen, in my head, I like to think this has happened, Brian. Now, this is just a story that I play out in my own mind. I would like to think that somebody like Thomas Frank has gone into those negotiations and gone, yeah, listen, I'll happily manage Tottenham, but I need some men. I need some, I need some experienced players to join. And you're going to have to do things differently. And then I'm hoping that Levy's turned around to Lang and loosened it a little bit and gone, okay, cool. Look, this is the list of players that Thomas Frank wants. And I don't think at the moment any of these players are, you know me, Brian, I'll be the first person to go, yeah, we're not getting X, Y, or Z. It's unrealistic. I don't think these players we're linked with Wissa, Morgan Gibbs-White, the Kuduses. I think that's exactly the shop. We're shopping in Sainsbury's, right? We should be. Whereas before we've been shopping in Lidl. Yeah. Do I think we're ready to shop in Waitrose? No, I don't. but Sainsbury's will do. We've got a taste the difference range. We can get some quality there. So that's where I think we are. My wife's laughing at me with my stupid supermarket analogy. But you get what I'm saying, right?
Yep. I mean, you've got to look at this. As you and me were saying when Frank got appointed, Frank is going to coach players. He's going to develop players. And people that were saying, well, he hasn't got great players and he's not worked with them. He's never been able to. And they're saying, look at the budget he's had to work on Brentford. It's a Levy thing. He wants to work on a budget. Well, no, it was like he hasn't had the opportunity to work within a budget that Tottenham Hotspur will offer him. And he will be able to attract the players he wanted at Tottenham because of the size of our club compared to Brentford. Apparently, obviously, he asked for a lot of assurances. And if these players start coming in, you can finally say that that the assurances are actually being met. For the first time, assurances are being met. And we'll have to see what happens. Like I said, like we're all saying, this news has just developed. But like you said, Ornstein does not tweet or release anything unless it's pretty much... It could be, but I've said that Alfie needs a loan. Alfie needs a loan in the Championship to show what he can do. But instantly, the most important thing is right now, you look at it, the competition for places is immediately getting better. If Morgan Gibbs-White comes in, that will relegate someone to the bench straight away, whether it be the 6, the 8, the 10, whatever you want to do, which is making our bench stronger. These are the kind of signings Spurs should be making. And like I said, I do not see a single down point to Morgan Gibbs-White coming to Tottenham Hotspur. Not a single negative.
The only negative I can give you right now is that from the 815 inside the chat, there's 281 likes. We should be on 500. We're 220 below. So smash that button. Thank you for the people that have just subscribed. If you haven't, please do, as we are now very much on the road to 20,000 subscribers. It seems like it's been a very long journey.
Congrats on 19, bro. Congrats on 19.
Thank you. Thank you. And if I'm not wrong, you guys are close to getting the 9. Is that right?
Yeah, we're close to getting the 9. We're back being consistent. I think we're 104 away from 9K.
Right. Can one of my mods right now, please, if one of my mods could put in Tottenham on Tour's link. There's 825 people in here right now. 104 of you can go over and subscribe to Tottenham on Tour and get these guys to their 9,000. Share the love, everybody. Everybody's out here grafting and grinding, and it is a graft and a grind. As much as everyone in my real life tells me, oh, it must be well fun talking about football all day. I'm like, yeah, but after a while, it's like anything. You know what I mean? It's after a while, it becomes hard work. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, look, there are still lots of people saying, look, Gibbs-White isn't the best. I think we can do better. I'm just not sure who these people think we're getting that's better than these players. That's where I can't understand it. I'm all for being shot down, Brian, but
yep.
Who? Without Eze's name being mentioned, everyone in the chat, who are we looking at better than Gibbs-White that suits homegrown, right age, caliber? Who are we looking at, people? Who are we looking at?
I honestly, that's the thing. That is the thing. I think he comes in, immediately improves our midfield, immediately takes the midfield up levels. Morgan, if someone has said to us around, thank you, Tim, for subscribing, buddy. I would say if we had said this in January, right now with the midfield as it is, who would come in right now? Morgan Gibbs-White would immediately improve that midfield. Immediately. I will say, people, I will tell you about Warson now. I got told, like I said, I got told that we've already had one bid refused for him, which has been kept under the radar, and Spurs are going back in with a second. Like I said, it wasn't from a... Yeah, it wasn't. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't from an ORNSTEIN tweeting. Someone reached out to me who does know some people at the club. Whether Spurs could be keeping things under wraps, we don't know what's going on with Thomas Frank. It could be a cover-up for Morgan Gibbs-White that has just exploded. This was before I got sent this, before Morgan Gibbs-White and David ORNSTEIN dropped it. So it could be a cover and a smokescreen. But I've been told that we've already had one bid turned down for Wharton, and Spurs could be going back for a second. That's all I've been told. It could be
Brian Daigle, ITK Supremo.
No ITK. No ITK. Listen, like I said, it could be all smoke and mirrors with Morgan Gibbs-White. Morgan Gibbs-White could be the smokescreen for who knows. But if we got a Gibbs-White or a Wharton, Jesus Christ.
I'm just going to have a look at Morgan Gibbs-White's overall data. Let's have a little look. Morgan Gibbs-White, where are you? Morgan Gibbs-White. Now you've got me singing that song now.
Hello, mate. Honestly, right. I am literally buzzing for this signing. I'm happy with Kudus, delighted. If we get here we go for Morgan Gibbs-White, I might be doing cartwheels on stream, even though I can't do cartwheels.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And listen, again, when people are saying, "Oh, look at you guys getting giddy," this is how a club should act. Well, yeah, but we haven't acted like this before, so of course we're going to be a little bit giddy, right? It's the way it goes. Are we sitting here saying that this is definitely going to happen? I don't think anyone with Spurs ever thinks anything is a definite. But hey, it's it's exciting, isn't this what we want to see as fans, Brian? Don't we want to be excited? Don't we want to look forward to these sorts of players joining our club? This is what it's about, right?
This is the thing. People will obviously know me mainly for me being as anti-Levy as anyone on YouTube or anyone in general. And I have kept to my stance of how much I despise our owner for not doing the right thing by our football club on the football pitch. And I will always be the very first to absolutely slam him. But you cannot get away from it. If these kind of players are coming in, it'll still take me 3-4 years of consistently going for players like this to even make me remotely think about changing my stance. But this is all I've wanted. This is all people like myself, you, Savva, Stell, any Levy outer, have just, Ben who's in the chat, I could go through Scott, I could go through all the Levy outers in your chat. All we've ever wanted is Spurs to flex their financial muscle that we have got, stop hearing excuses and start going for genuine players for today. Not building the team for tomorrow, what our rivals are building for today. Go build for the team of today. And Morgan, Gibbs-White and Kudus is 100% building a team for today.
Agreed. And just quickly, Gus, big up to you. Gus is in my chat every day. But Gus, when you're saying Gibbs-White has agreed personal terms and has been accepted by Man City, I haven't seen anybody of any reputable source say this. When you say he ain't coming to Spurs, listen, we don't know that. David Ornstein isn't just going to tweet what he tweeted for fun. So something must be happening. Now, it doesn't mean, when I say something must be happening, it doesn't mean that we are 100% getting him, but it means we're 100% talking to him. And Levy has signed one okay prospect and everyone is playing fantasy football. Now, I don't think Kudus is an okay prospect. This is a seasoned international footballer. He's not 18. He's 24 years of age, got loads of Ghana caps, 2 years in the Premier League, played for Ajax in the Champions League before that. I get that we want to hate on Levy and Enoch and Spurs. I get it. And Brian Daigle, more than anyone, will want to do that. But
it's my specialist subject.
Right. This is if Brian went on Mastermind, his specialist subject would be Daniel Levy's wrongdoings. But
damn right.
Surely we can't be this doom and gloom about hearing positives that we're going in to try to sign good players. We all say, the thing is we don't try to sign players. Well, here we are. We're in talks. We've got Kudus. We're in talks with Gibbs-White. What are you down about? Like, what are you not happy about? I don't understand.
Exactly. This is the thing. It's literally when he's talking about the prospect, it's probably Takai. Kudus is a big deal. Kudus is a massive deal. He is that one player. Savva, how many times have you and I together or on personal or on singular streams or other Spurs people, even in chats, said we've lacked that player that gives us excitement, that gets the ball and will take on his man and be direct and offer something. That is exactly what Kudus is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Kudus is. That X factor of a player is back at Tottenham Hotspur, and it's a big signing. It's a big signing. And obviously, Thomas, if Morgan Gibbs-White comes in, I think a lot of people that are doubting him, and people can doubt him. People can doubt him. As I've said to Scott M on WhatsApp, I think by Christmas, people will be like, do you know what? Like they were with Thomas Frank. People were doubting Thomas Frank until they started watching videos, seeing interviews, and then obviously seeing him settle in at Spurs. And I think Morgan Gibbs-White does the same thing. Exactly the same thing.
Scott, are people like you ever happy? Like, what do you mean? He's an okay player, but he blocks us getting players we actually need. Don't we need to build a squad? Like, come on, guys. Where's the doom and gloom? And I get called negative. Brian, I get called negative. Look at this. I don't hate it, but it doesn't excite me. By the way, Sammy Mockbell of the BBC has just said Tottenham have now opened formal club-to-club talks with Nottingham Forest. So that would suggest that we've spoken to the player and that he's all over it. and that now it's club to club talks. Now, when you get to club talks, enter Sir Daniel Levy. This is where Daniel Levy has to do Daniel Levy's thing. Just quickly as well, I'm being sent loads of stuff here, mate. Apologies for this. Some news on Kudus. Some news on Kudus, how we got that deal done. It says here that Kudus sacrificed contract and loyalty bonuses to force West Ham's hand with the transfer request. Obvious now that Spurs had to compensate that by West Ham taking 55 million, they saved money by not paying said contract and bonuses. No wonder it changed dramatically. And also, somebody said you have to wonder where this money is coming from. And Paul O'Keefe's eyes just did this thing, you know, the googly eyes. Yeah. I feel like something's happening with investment. I do. We don't normally move like this. I feel like there's some money being pumped in somewhere, Brian.
Say that last bit again, Savva, sorry.
I think there's money being pumped in from somewhere, whether it's Enix or investment from some backers. There's got to be.
There's got to be. I mean, if we go back, forget talking. Vinay coming in, there's definitely been a change, fan engagement and the way things are going. Forget the video with him and Levy, where he's come in with a reason, and he's obviously a lot more appealing to potential investors than Scott Munn was. Then Charrington has come in, which was Joe Lewis's own financial guy. That's obviously started off as a non-executive director, then got handed the shares of Lewis and everyone. So he's come in. There has been a huge change at Tottenham through Vinay, through Charrington. I think there is definitely a power struggle going on with Levy and Lewis. Frank has come in and needed insurances, and all of a sudden Spurs are dining at different tables when it comes to who we're going for in the transfer market. There's no smoke without fire, and there just has to be money coming from somewhere, because we have never, ever acted like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. And big up Troy. Listen, something I don't know. All we do know is there has been a change at board level in the last few months with Charrington coming in. Obviously, Donna Cullen's gone out. Vinay Venkatesham's come in. Yep. New manager, sacked a manager. We paid nearly 20 million to sack all of these people and bring all of these people in. Something feels different in the water at Tottenham Hotspur. Something does. And I don't mind sitting here saying I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I don't want to be upset with my club. I don't want to be angry at my club for being crap in the transfer market. I'm here for it. But hey, that's just me. I'm actually a bit shocked by how many people don't see this as positive and exciting stuff. I'm genuinely a little bit shocked.
Yeah, listen, everyone has their idea of the perfect player or who they want, and if they think it will improve. And I get that. We all have our, like people did with Johnson last season, like people did with Archie Gray, like people did with Solanke. I am a fan of. I know you're not. I am a fan of Solanke's, and I think this season we see a completely different side of him. I really do. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, but you're completely the other way. You and I respectfully disagree. And you're going to get that always with players, no matter what. Unless we sign, obviously, everyone wants Eze. Or let's say a majority want Eze. He's the dream. But obviously, this, again, Samir's just said, if we signed an Adam Wharton, this whole fan base are like, yes. You're always going to have disagreements on players, like we are managers. But Morgan Gibbs-White for me, I've been this way for 2-3 years with him. I honestly, I just think he really revolutionises our midfield. I really do. And like you said, Savva, English, 25 years old. Spurs are actually signing players that are actually coming into their prime. This Kudus 24 and then Gibbs-White 25. Not just is this the calibre of players Spurs should be signing, it's the age range. You sign two players like this, Takai makes perfect sense. Go sign as many Takais as you want at that age if you're signing a Gibbs-White and a Kudus to go alongside them. For every one youngster you bring in, if you're bringing in 2 stars of Kudus and Gibbs-White, you're not going to hear a peep out of me about any youngster we sign. Any youngster.
Agreed. Agreed. I mean, look, there's the thing is as well, people are talking about a big up Lee Enigma in the chat who said when he comes to my barbecue, he's not gonna bring little sausages because I'll turn my nose up at them. I won't. I mean, I won't. I'm not, you know, I'm just a poor boy from South London. But look, what I would say, I'm seeing a lot of noise about possibly you know, possible Son leaving, Johnson leaving, possibly Ritchie leaving, Bentancur. I think I don't mind any of this. If we start getting in fresh faces like Wharton, like Gibbs-White, like Kudus, that's what we want to see, right? We've all said our squad needs depth. We've all said our squad needs more quality. I'm here for it. I know you're here for it. But what I'm also here for, and you're like this, what I'm also here for is this. This is the link to Tottenham on tour. Smash that link. There are 850 of you in here. 850 of you in here. If you can't smash that button there and subscribe to Brian Daigle and get them to 9K, Tottenham on tour. And Ben, he's on the, yeah. If you can't subscribe to them, what are we doing here? That's purchase. What are we doing here? Podcast. So please smash that button. Brian, let me know how quickly we get there. And we're only going to go for another 10 minutes. And then what I am going to do is send you all over to where I'm going, which I'm actually late for. But
do you ever stop?
No.
Do you ever stop, Savva?
No.
You're doing basically, and I hate to bring his name up, Andrew's gone, but with Andrew, we never stop. I'm going to doctor that to Savva never stops.
I'm like N'Golo Kante. I do the job of 2 streamers in midfield instead of 1. But I am in 10 minutes. I'm going over to Football's 12 Man podcast myself. I'm going to take all of you with me, hopefully, and we will smash Savva raid. But I think Dan understands that with this breaking news that I am going to be somewhat late, and I say he will understand. I've messaged him, so he does know. Look. What I don't want to see, Brian, I don't want to see all these people going, oh, well, maybe Maddison has to go to fit him in. Maybe why do we do this? Liverpool buy players, right? They just buy players and go, yeah, oh, look at the options. City go, oh, look at these options. We buy players and go, oh, well, we're going to have to sell Maddison now because otherwise, where does he play? Isn't Frank a good enough coach that he finds room for these players and knows how to rotate them, right?
Well, you just said the last word you said is, I think what everyone is not thinking is we're in 4 competitions this season. We said we don't have the squad to compete on 4 trophies, and rotation is going to be key to keep players fresh, to keep players out of the red zone, to stop injuries happening. We all say that we need 2 great players or 2 very, very good players in each position. Well, that's what we're doing. Mm-hmm. If this comes in, Morgan Gibbs-White could be the buffer for Maddison. If Maddison's getting tired or Maddison's picking up an injury or playing too much, he could be the buffer for Bentancur or whoever, Bergvall, whoever's playing. As we saw when you showed the heat map, the positions, this is what we all want. We want proper competition for places where players come in and say, oh, wait a minute, Sunset has just said Fabrizio's tweeted. Fabrizio,
I'm just finding it now because I know some people will only ever believe anything if they hear it from Fab's mouth. Here we go. And sorry, we haven't had the here we go. I was just saying here we go, like we're going to look at his tweet. Fabrizio Romano has just posted this. You can all see it there. Fabrizio Romano has said, after the Kudus deal done, Tottenham have made a formal approach to Nottingham Forest. So there you go, guys. It's no longer player to club talks. That's done, right? Us getting personal terms with Gibbs-White is easy. All of these people who say we don't pay the wages, I've always said I don't believe it. We do, right? Official club to club talks ongoing with opening bid expected soon, as The Athletic reported. Gibbs-White can be open to the move up to the clubs now. So, Brian, from 2 hours ago of nothing to this has moved very, very quickly. This has moved very, very quickly. And it looks like Tottenham Hotspur are in talks with Nottingham Forest about Morgan Gibbs-White, the England international midfielder. So happy days.
Mate, all I can say, people that were saying Thomas Frank won't have the pull, people saying that Thomas Frank can't get jobs done, people that were saying, I had so many people, trolls messaging me, saying he can't even get Mbeumo over the line. People got to start paying serious attention to Thomas Frank. People that were doubting, again.
People want to hate him. They want to hate him because he's not Ange.
100%. No matter, and I have to say, no matter who the manager had been, whether it had been Silva, whether it had been Nagelsmann, whether it had been whoever people wanted, this is it. Thomas Frank is here, and you can see things are happening. And we've all said the way he coaches and develops players, and he's had to lose players every single year. Well, he won't be losing players every single year at Spurs. He will develop them. He will, mate, honestly, it's very exciting times. Forget the signings, just with Thomas Frank. I cannot explain to people how excited the time should be for Thomas Frank. People should be getting on board because you and I have championed it. I've been saying for years. I've been doing it on shows. This is the man that Spurs have needed, and you can just tell by the. And I'll tell you what as well. Signings like Gibbs-White, if he comes, and obviously Kudus, then you start being a bit more understanding to people like Tell, who he can coach and develop. People may not like him or think, okay, why have we signed him? He didn't do enough. Well, you start putting quality players around him, you never know what you're going to get from him. Like I said, every single player has a clean slate, complete clean slate for me. I think players are going to start improving night and day. And you start seeing players like this. There are a lot of people that were slating Tell. I think Tell becomes a much better player anyway because of the formation and style. Yes, he's got a lot to improve him. But then you say, right, there's Kudus, there's Gibbs-White, there's Maddison, and all that playing alongside him compared to what we had last season. It's night and day the quality he's playing around. Night and day. No, they all agree. Like with Dele Alli. When you saw Dele Alli came into our football club. Yes, he was a brilliant talent, but if you look at that team around him, he had another 10 players around him that were elite level.
Oh, cool.
But listen, so he had players around there to help him through it.
Brian,
this is what this will do.
I do need to wrap up because I am 20 minutes late to join Dan. Guys and girls, I'll be back at 9 o'clock tonight. It was going to be a call-in show. It might not be now. It might not be because there's going to be a lot happening between 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. I've got no doubt. I'll be back at 9 p.m. Guys, follow me over right now to Football's 12-Man podcast where they're going to be talking about this. And I need backup because the fans of the other clubs call me all sorts of things in the chat. So I'm going to need you lot to back me up. When you get there, say Savva Raid. Big up to Mark, who's been a member now for the last week or so. Big up to you, my man. Really appreciate the super sticker. Really appreciate that, my man. Thank you very much. Very generous. And I'll see if I can get a few Spurs YouTubers to join me at 9 p.m. tonight. Also, Sean is live at 7 p.m. tonight. I think he might want to rephrase the title. He's called it a Spurs meltdown. Maybe he means it in we've meltdown because we're getting players in. Guys, girls, love you all. Join me over there right now on Football's 12-Man podcast. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Morgan Gibbs-White. Morgan Gibbs.